Only moments ago, the silence that had lingered for days was finally broken. Jin addressed the question that has haunted millions of ARMY worldwide. Why did Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, cry so intensely in Taehyung's arms during his birthday celebration? Was it merely the overwhelming love from fans, or was there something deeper, something hidden, that triggered such raw emotion? The scene was unforgettable. Jungkook, usually radiant and composed, was suddenly seen with tears streaming down his face, clutching Taehyung as though his heart was too heavy to bear alone. For days, speculation has flooded every corner of social media. TikTok edits, YouTube analysis videos, and Twitter threads dissecting every frame of the footage. Yet, none of it seemed to touch the core of the truth. Now, with Jin's words surfacing, the mystery has shifted into sharper focus, demanding answers, demanding clarity. Why now? Why would Jin choose this exact moment to step forward and clarify? The timing itself raises more questions than it resolves. Was this revelation spontaneous, or was it a carefully calculated response to calm down an audience that had already reached a breaking point of speculation? ARMY's emotions are not to be underestimated. When millions of people cry alongside Jungkook, the weight of their grief and solidarity becomes a global phenomenon. Jin's clarification, while brief, carried the force of a confession. He spoke not as an idol standing on a pedestal, but as an older brother revealing the vulnerability of someone he has protected for over a decade. He confirmed that the tears were real, unfiltered, and personal. But his statement left a lingering ambiguity. Was the cause purely the overwhelming affection of ARMY, or was there an unspoken struggle that Jungkook could not contain? For ARMY, every detail matters. The way Jungkook's shoulders shook, the way Taehyung whispered words of comfort that no camera could fully capture, and the way Jin's voice trembled when speaking of the incident. All of these are now etched into the collective memory of fans worldwide. And yet, the very intensity of these moments sparks a difficult question. Are we witnessing an authentic cry from the heart, or are we being drawn into a spectacle amplified for maximum emotional impact? It is undeniable that Jungkook's birthday is not just a personal milestone, it is a global event. His messages to fans, his songs, and his gratitude are broadcast to millions, dissected word by word. But when Jin revealed the reason behind Jungkook's tears, he did not point to a single cause. Instead, he layered his explanation in such a way that ARMY is left reflecting on the fragility of fame, the crushing weight of expectations, and the personal bonds that keep these 7 men from collapsing under the global spotlight. This is why ARMY cried. They did not cry simply because Jungkook cried. They cried because Jin validated what fans had long feared, that behind the flawless performances and carefully constructed appearances lies a reality where pain and gratitude coexist in unbearable intensity. Jin's words have become both a comfort and a burden. A comfort because they reveal the humanity of BTS. A burden because they challenge every fan to question how much of what they see is truth and how much is the machinery of spectacle. Could it be that Jungkook's tears were his way of releasing years of pressure that even Jin could not shield him from? Or could it be that the bond between him and Taehyung, witnessed by millions, was not simply a brotherly embrace, but a coded message about resilience, survival, and solidarity? These questions will not vanish. They will only grow louder as ARMY continues to analyze every nuance of Jin's clarification. The emotional weight of this revelation has ignited a firestorm across social platforms. On Twitter, fans are divided. Some insist this was a raw, unedited moment of human vulnerability, while others argue it may have been heightened, intentionally or unintentionally, by the stage, the cameras, and the anticipation surrounding Jungkook's birthday. On TikTok, edits of Jungkook's tear-stained face are set against heartbreaking ballads, while YouTube commentators debate whether Jin's words should be taken at face value or read between the lines. The power of Jin's clarification lies not in the answers it provides, but in the questions it raises. Are we as fans prepared to accept the raw truth, even when it is uncomfortable? Or do we prefer the illusion of perfection, the comforting narrative that everything is fine as long as the members smile on stage? Perhaps the greatest irony is that Jungkook's tears have united ARMY more deeply than any polished performance could. Millions of fans cried in their bedrooms, in their living rooms, in concert halls, mirroring the pain of the youngest member. In that moment, the boundary between idol and fan collapsed. And Jin's revelation, though painful, cemented that collapse into something permanent, a shared wound and a shared responsibility. Now the world must decide. Do we treat this as a fleeting incident, an emotional outburst captured on camera? Or do we treat it as a profound reminder that behind every performance, there is a human heart, fragile and breakable? Jin's decision to clarify cannot be dismissed as a casual comment. It was a deliberate act, one that demands reflection. The truth, as it stands, remains both revealed and hidden. Jungkook cried. Jin explained. Taehyung embraced. ARMY mourned and celebrated simultaneously. But the deeper question persists. What do these tears mean for the future of BTS and for the millions who depend on their strength as a source of personal healing? As the noise settles, one challenge remains for every reader, every fan, every observer: to resist the temptation of sensationalism, to question the narratives presented, and to reflect critically on the reality of idols living under the crushing weight of expectation. Was this the ultimate display of authenticity, or was it an unavoidable performance, born out of circumstances none of us can fully understand? The tears are real. The emotions are undeniable. But the meaning, perhaps that is something ARMY will continue to search for, not just in Jin's words, not just in Jungkook's embrace, but in their own reflection of what it truly means to love, to support, and to believe. The revelation about Jin's clarification has indeed shaken the ARMY community. Yet, beneath the layers of emotion, one question lingers. Should this be accepted as an undeniable truth, or could it be nothing more than an elaborate performance designed to magnify attention? If Jungkook's tears in Taehyung's arms truly reflected the overwhelming weight of Jin's message, then the incident deserves recognition as a deeply human and heartfelt exchange. But if the scene was orchestrated, intentionally or unintentionally, for the media, does it alter the value of the moment? Or does it instead reveal the mechanisms of how narratives are shaped in the world of global entertainment? Can fans afford to simply consume this information without questioning its authenticity? Or should they pause, reflect, and ask whether the emotions they are witnessing are genuine reflections of private bonds or spectacles staged under the pressure of public scrutiny? The magnitude of ARMY's reaction, from trending hashtags to floods of emotional comments across TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, suggests that many already accepted this event as real. But is collective belief the same as factual truth? The danger of sensationalism in the entertainment industry cannot be ignored. Whenever such a powerful image, an idol in tears, a heartfelt clarification, a special birthday message, emerges online, it becomes a catalyst for emotional reactions. Yet, who decides whether these stories are presented as authentic documentation or as narratives deliberately molded to sustain the intensity of fan engagement? Could this be another instance where the boundary between reality and performance collapses, leaving the audience unable to distinguish between fact and construction? If Jin's message was indeed spontaneous and unplanned, the rawness of Jungkook's emotional response becomes invaluable. It reinforces the authenticity of their bond and strengthens the trust between artist and audience. But how can we, as external observers, verify that spontaneity? Do we possess enough evidence to conclude that no editorial hand, no promotional intent, no media strategy was behind the scene that circulated across platforms? Or are we willingly surrendering to the comfort of believing what touches us most deeply, regardless of its factual foundation? The problem is not merely about whether the moment really happened. The deeper issue lies in whether ARMY, and by extension the global audience, can maintain critical awareness when engaging with stories that are simultaneously emotional and profitable. Is it fair to argue that even if this moment were strategically emphasized, the emotions it triggered remain valid? Or should we demand a stricter separation between authentic emotional expression and calculated media spectacle? In reflecting upon this event, fans must confront a difficult but necessary dilemma. Do they want the truth, or do they want the story that makes them feel most connected to their idols? Can both coexist without contradiction? When images of Jungkook in tears went viral, ARMY's first instinct was to console, empathize, and share in his vulnerability. Yet, very few asked whether those tears were presented within a carefully structured narrative. Why do audiences often hesitate to apply skepticism when faced with emotionally charged moments? This is why skepticism is not cynicism. It is responsibility. To question whether a moment is authentic does not diminish its potential emotional impact. Rather, it empowers fans to understand the broader ecosystem in which such narratives are produced, consumed, and amplified. Was Jin's clarification timed intentionally to coincide with Jungkook's birthday? Was the story spread to maximize emotional resonance and online traction? Or was it a natural coincidence that happened to erupt into the public eye? The truth may never be fully accessible, but that does not absolve the audience from reflecting critically. The very fact that ARMY members are discussing, debating, and dissecting this incident is evidence of its cultural power. But power without scrutiny risks manipulation. Should fans willingly accept a narrative just because it feels emotionally satisfying? Or should they cultivate the discipline to question the source, the motive, and the broader implications of what they are consuming? Every news article, every viral video, every trending hashtag is part of an ecosystem shaped by attention. And in that ecosystem, even the purest moments can become tools of amplification. The responsibility now lies not only with the artists but with the audience. Will ARMY allow themselves to be guided entirely by emotion, or will they balance passion with critical thought? Can they hold on to their emotional connection while also demanding transparency? Ultimately, the challenge is not to decide whether this incident was entirely real or partially constructed. The challenge is to recognize the complexity of truth in the age of digital virality. ARMY must ask themselves, do they believe because it is true, or is it true because they believe? And if the answer is uncertain, does that uncertainty itself demand more careful reflection? For now, the information circulating comes from multiple platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and others. The consistency of these narratives does not automatically confirm their validity. What it does confirm is the immense desire of fans to engage, to feel, to share in the journey of their idols. But desire must not blind perception. The next time such an emotionally charged revelation surfaces, will ARMY be ready to pause and analyze before accepting it as fact? Or will the cycle of immediate belief and emotional surrender continue? This incident, whether fully authentic or partly constructed, serves as a reminder of the double-edged nature of global fandom culture. Emotions can unite, inspire, and strengthen bonds, but they can also obscure judgment, making it difficult to separate what is felt from what is factual. Perhaps the most important question is not whether Jin's clarification was real, but whether ARMY is willing to demand more than emotional satisfaction. Are they prepared to ask uncomfortable questions, to risk disappointment, in the pursuit of truth? Because without that willingness, every tear, every embrace, every special message risks becoming just another consumable image in the endless stream of digital sensation. And when that happens, the true meaning of authenticity may vanish entirely.